the patio show for the Oil Stream. Oil Stream presented to you by Boston Pizza. And, man, beautiful day here at the Boston Pizza, isn't it?
Great day
real
at
nice.
the patio, BP's Calgary Trail. We're here right now. Shout out to Cash, Dustin with the Y, Andrea, Jason, Adam, who lives in Calgary, was here for both days of Metallica.
Ah, okay,
Mo
cool.
is here. The Latino Heat.
The Latino Heat.
Si, senor.
Oh, I didn't get home till like 4 a.m. after he blew it for the Elks last night.
He was awful last night. I saw him on the sidelines. And then Joaquin Gage was here.
Yeah, Gager just popped in quickly.
He was planning on being here. Him and Nanso were going to meet and discuss the upcoming
and then
show.
What happened?
Family thing. So he had to take care of that like a good dad. So he is taking care of that. But good turnout for a Monday.
This is awesome.
A busy weekend in the city. And I got back Saturday night into the city. Fantastic. Downtown was buzzing, even though it was raining like crazy. There was a concert at Rogers. Obviously, that was sandwiched between the two Metallica shows at Commonwealth. There was something going on. I think what's going on is Fringe happening? Did it happen?
Is it still going? I thought that was over. Reed Wilkins. I know Reed's at the office right now. He told me he went to 14 Fringe shows.
Okay, so
Reed, if you're listening, text us. Is it over? It must be over now.
Must be over. And it was packed on White Ave. Downtown was packed, and
West Edmonton Mall, I guess, was just jammed
back
on
to
Saturday.
School.
Yeah,
it was buzzing around the city here, and that's a bad joke. And the Wasps have been buzzing around here too.
Yeah, they
so
have.
Annoying.
Wasps are everywhere.
They were in Coeur d'Alene when I was down there. They
have wasps in Coeur d'Alene too?
The worst.
Do you think they're the same wasps that are up here now?
Yeah, they followed me back, and then Calgary was really bad as well. So
what do we got
it's
here?
not just
Let's
an
see these
Edmonton
orders. What we got? Is that a Boston Brute?
We got a Brute.
Half Brute, lunch size.
Very nice.
I like it. That's nice.
We got a pizza.
Jace, what do you got?
You got the pierogi pizza.
The pierogi pizza.
There we go.
Spicy pierogi pizza.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all.
Real nice. Got the dip. It's looking real good.
Mm-hmm.
Real good. I'm going to get a smoked ham and chicken stromboli.
Yeah, you will.
She's ready to go. She said, just let me know when you want it.
Lucky
what a day to be alive.
You lucky
Probably
guy.
going to grab one more of these too. When she goes by, I'll grab her.
She's busy. She's busy.
I know. Well, we're busy too.
We're busy. Yeah.
Anyways, great.
Great to be back.
Can I grab another one of these? Perfect.
I'm still okay.
But Calgary was good.
Calgary was really good.
A better camp. Like, what's the difference between a hockey camp in Canada and a hockey camp down in the States?
It's the same camp.
Yeah.
We do have different instructors who come in. The core group is the same goalie coach, but we did have Mark Ciaccio from the New York Rangers skills and skating coach in Arizona. And was Chach in Coeur d'Alene? No, he was just in AZ. Then Jeff Smith, who still plays in Germany, is from the Spokane area. He handled Coeur d'Alene. We also had Aaron Azevedo, who's great and handles a lot of the hockey schools and programs down in the Coeur d'Alene/Spokane area. And then we had Keith Gretzky running the show for the morning sessions in Calgary. And then we get junior coaches that become the group coaches. So the coaches, there's some interchangeable parts there, but what distinguishes a good camp from a bad camp is generally the attitude of the kids. And then sadly, the attitude of the parents, because I'm just going to say we had a really shitty parent in Phoenix.
You told us about her.
She was berserk. And listen, you want to protect your kid. You want the safety and the fun element is always the importance. And then obviously skill development. You get 4 full days of skill development on the ice. And then the 5th day is reward. It's a game, full-blown game. And after the game, this parent's kid started a fight. And this kid had been starting problems and being an issue the entirety of the camp. And then this parent decided to run. And all of this is caught on Live Barn. I know we're starting to get more and more Live Barn arenas set up in Canada. They had it down in Calgary. You could see this parent run all the way around onto the bench after the handshake line fight that occurred with her kid who instigated it. Yell at the instructors and the other kids on the bench, then proceed to run back all the way around underneath the stands in the hallway to the locker room. Thankfully, the Ice Den has cameras with microphones that are live and listening, and caught her accosting the kids in the room. This is group 1. 8 8 to 10 is the average age in that group, yelling at them. And then the instructors got all the kids out of there, went and talked to her. She berates the main instructors, and then to the point where they couldn't even talk to her, so they just leave her in the locker room by herself. Throws all the kids' gear around, and you've got all the kids in the locker room next door because we had to get them out of there, and they start chanting Karen. Yeah, these kids are sharp. And then she goes on to yell at Chach, who has been coaching in the Phoenix area for years, all the while also coaching the Rangers on the skills and skating side. So that can ruin things. So our worst group of kids and parents were in Arizona. And then the best was probably Coeur d'Alene, and then Calgary was pretty darn good. It's the kids and the parents that make or break a camp.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're pretty consistent. Ty's been doing this camp for, I think, 10 years now. I've been helping out for 6 or 7. It's a well-oiled machine. And it's just what happens with the kids. If there's any issue, you do have to watch for bullying and stuff like that. And then if the parents get involved, it's also kind of a pain in the butt. So it was good. It was good. It was nice to have time away. I came back for 1 week, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was different because we've all been having vacation time.
Yeah.
And then now it feels like we're back.
Kind of getting back in the swing of things, especially next week.
Yeah.
This one says, from that story, Tommy, hockey does belong in Arizona.
You know what?
Crazy parent.
And that's fair. It is a funny joke, and it is true. And one thing I'm happy to hear is the Junior Coyotes program will continue. They had the Coyotes.
Even though they're gone. Yeah.
So we were at the ice den. It's 3 sheets of ice. Very nice facility in Scottsdale. And they announced, and they were putting funding into the Junior Coyotes program. They took out all the Arizona Coyotes logos from there.
Okay.
They put the Junior Coyotes logos in at center ice.
Nice.
I think they took the signage
Well, just
down
because
too.
the Coyotes leave, hockey can't die in Arizona.
No, exactly.
Right?
And the other thing too, and we're going to hear more and more about this. I think Friedman was talking about a little bit on 32 Thoughts. Pagnotta was saying it late in the season on Hello Hockey as well. Do not be surprised if you hear Arizona come up again in expansion talks. And now that Alex Morello he's washed his hands.
Yeah, he's out,
Coyotes.
right?
And how about he came away like a bandit on that one. What did he get? $1 billion, paid $450 or something like that. He made $500 million running that organization into the ground.
That's okay.
Yeah.
$500 million.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's already interest in business owners and people in the Arizona, in the Valley community have already reached out to the National Hockey League to show interest in bringing a team back. And obviously the natural instinct from people will be like, come on, it hadn't worked for 25 years. There are many factors. It's a huge city. There is a hockey community there. And I do understand the sentiment of those from the outside that are like, you can't stick a team back in there. But I also, now having spent a lot of time there, we had a family home there for a long time, helping out with the hockey school down there. If you put the rink in the new area, in the right area,
I think it'll actually work.
It could be sustainable and make money, because that city is over 6 million people. Phoenix, the greater Phoenix area.
It's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
It's a big market. So yeah, Shane Doan is a pillar in the community.
Yeah.
And Shane Doan and Larry Fitzgerald are like 2 legends in the Phoenix area. So I think they could make it work. I'd like to see it work. I love going to hockey games down there, but there was also talk about how bad ASU was for the NHL. And so, yeah, it's interesting in that regard.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You can text us. That's the number. And, of course, you can hit us up on the Nasty Chat over on YouTube. Look at this. I'm about to get chicken stromboli right here. I grabbed that smoked ham and chicken stromboli sandwich. Just fries. That's fine, yeah.
I'll wait a little bit.
You're going to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
You're hungry, though, you said.
Hungry boy.
Well, you come to the right place. You come to the right place.
Working.
No gravy.
No gravy.
I mean,
he
I
says.
kind of want a gravy, but no gravy.
Yeah. RCN says that Morello might have lost about $200 million in the process too.
Came out on top.
Still came out. I don't know if you're still walking away with.
To be honest with
million.
you, I don't really care about people who have hundreds of millions of dollars losing money or getting
Hard to
money.
feel bad for a lot of them. Yeah,
really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple things to get to. We are here at Boston Pizza, right next to Calgary Trail, and I know when I got here, Tara was like, it might be a little loud out there. I said, not with these mics, not with these headsets.
Oh.
They're gonna hear traffic at all. It's so it's perfect. Nice little patio right here.
Yep.
So I was told today that Boston Pizza is doing even more with the Edmonton Oilers this year. So
Really?
there's gonna be more of a BP's presence around the oil.
Good.
Which is nice to see.
Maybe
Careful with that beer and that wasp.
we get some crumbs.
Yeah, that trickle down effect. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Crumbs.
And then they've got an NFL menu coming out here as well. So be following all their social medias for all their upcoming menus. Did you hear the story today about my buddy who got stung by a wasp when we were golfing? I'm just thinking because
no, I have two stings under both my knees.
Same, both knees.
Look at this one. This one's nasty.
What? Unbelievable,
dude.
Well, look at that one. I see that one right there.
Yeah, they got in Calgary.
At least they didn't blow up.
They were big yesterday.
Yeah.
They're all this one.
Man, how do you do all your squats? Oh yeah.
I haven't done squats in a few weeks.
Yeah, me neither. Why do you laugh? Anyway,
you are funny.
No, so we're golfing. We're gonna get to the Oilers. I mean, it's the end of August. We're gonna get to the Oilers. We're gonna talk about Barrie. We're gonna talk about possible third line combinations. We'll do that because there's a mix and match Mondays today for Pro-Am. But golfing on Saturday.
Yeah.
And the classic wasp gets into the can. My buddy goes to take a drink of his twisted tea. It's like, spits it out. Stung right there.
No.
By the time we get to 9, his one side of his lips like this. I was just like, my God, if you can barely notice. He's like,
Was that Babbage stash? Because he texted into.
No, those are his lips were way worse.
Oh, God.
His lips were way worse. Clint's lip wasn't too bad, and it actually gone down a bit by the end of the round. But so he gets stung on the lip. Then, 3 holes later, he goes to sit down in the cart and leans back and gets stung on the back.
No.
We're sitting there golfing. And it was like in Wedding Crashers when the guy kept hammering Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And Owen Wilson was like, oh, God, not again. We're sitting there ready to putt. And we see Clint in the golf cart. He goes, and he jumps off. And the 3 of us are looking around. We're like, oh, here goes Clint again. Stung by another wasp. So, got to be careful with those wasps. Marshall got stung by wasps for the first time this year.
How did he handle it? Did he handle it okay?
Cried a bit. It was in Cranbrook when he was with my parents. But he toughed it out. He's a tough kid.
He is
so that was nice.
It's a nuisance. I think Jay tried the meat in a plate to draw them away thing.
Oh, clever move.
Yeah. Jay, did you put meat in that plate to draw them away? Is that what you did? Sour cream?
Nice.
Yeah.
Good move. Good move.
That's an old wise.
This is an issue across the province right now. I don't know where our wasp budget is, but
let's get on it.
It's not good.
Nope.
It's not good.
Nope.
All right. So where do we should we start?
Lots to talk about.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were off last week, so we haven't even got your takes on them not matching Broberg and then we got to start there.
Yep.
We got to start there.
Let's
Broberg
go.
and Holloway gone. It sure looked like Holloway was disappointed that he's gone when he does availability.
Pretty sure he is.
That sure seems like, hey, let's play a little hardball, and it backfired on them immediately.
You nailed it.
Oh, poor guy.
Poor guy. He's $2.2 million richer this year and next. So literally not poor. Let's start with Holloway.
Okay.
All right. So I kind of hinted at it a bit with Walker and Matty and Murray on the hangout a bit. I think Dylan Holloway, that's a good read. I think he's disappointed.
Yeah.
I think he's not overly pleased with how everything played out. I think he's probably excited about a new opportunity, and yes, he's going to get paid. Now,
Hernan went half brute.
He went brute. There's Tara. Hi.
Half brute. Hey, Hernan. I like it. You get gravy or ketchup? Gravy, ketchup, and the dip. Nice. I love it.
I think Holloway and his agent gambled, thinking that there was no way the Oilers wouldn't match.
Yeah.
And it blew up in their face.
Especially, I wonder if they were like, you know what, but they'll also take Broberg. They know we won't match on Broberg, so they'll keep you. You know, from his camp's perspective.
I like Dylan Holloway very much. I am tantalized by his potential. He was a year away from getting that contract and then some. He was a year away from likely playing with 29 or 97 full time. And I think he understands that the calculated risk he took blew up in his face. So, does it sting for both sides? Yep. There's another bad wasp. Pun.
I was going to say, I was like, are you doing that on purpose?
A little bit. Yeah, that sucks. And then if you're an Oiler fan and you're the organization, I think the organization was annoyed by him doing that. And I think by all accounts, there's some regret from his side. And it's just crappy. It sucks. It really sucks.
It does suck, doesn't it?
So, and I know his family would drive up for every home game. That's going to be a lot tougher to do now. And
but yeah, like even from that perspective, like his parents used to come to all the games,
every game,
and now they don't get to.
Yeah, and from what I understand, like listen, driving 2.5 hours, if that, up to Edmonton for a game is a lot easier than trying to find your way to St. Louis from Edmonton or Calgary, because St. Louis is not a destination. Let's just put it that way when it comes to hubs and travel, and especially getting from here to there. I mean, you can't even get to Regina, for crying out loud, without having to bounce through Vancouver, right?
I can't on WestJet.
Okay. So if the fleet is full,
yeah,
they're down 16 planes.
They're down a few planes.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Now, yeah.
So anyway, it sucks. And Holloway was probably going to get that money here in a year or two. And you know, as some people from the organization were saying to me, like realistically, like he's going to probably make $1 million this year, more than he would have. Yeah. But at the end, he's going to lose out in endorsements, perks of being an Oiler and an Alberta kid. Like vehicles and sponsorships and appearances. I don't think there's going to be that many businesses and organizations where Dylan Holloway in St. Louis will be the guest of honor or co-MC, or there's going to be a Dylan Holloway hot stove where he's making $10,000-$20,000 for an appearance. That doesn't happen when you're Dylan Holloway in St. Louis, as opposed to Dylan Holloway in Edmonton as an Oiler.
Yeah, third line Dylan Holloway here in Edmonton carries a much higher profile than third line Dylan Holloway in St. Louis.
Correct.
Right here, you're like, oh my God, you're an Oiler. Down there, you're like, oh, what team do you play for? Hockey. Okay.
They love the Blues down there. The Blues are a big deal.
How many, compared to the Oilers here, though?
Nowhere near.
Exactly.
Now, saying all that, I hope he does have great success and flourishes, and I hope he does become that guy. They have a great hockey community in St. Louis, especially with the alumni. All the Blues alumni stick together. They're very prominent in the St. Louis area, so there's a chance for that too. Absolutely. Now, Broberg.
Yeah.
Text us 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. Where do you want to start with this one?
Well, I mean, in the end, brilliant for him.
Yep.
I mean, for a guy who wasn't happy here the whole time anyway, to use this spot to get 4 times as much as he was going to get here, from his perspective, business-wise, brilliant move.
Yes.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, you put your team into a bind where they have to make a decision, and it's going to cost them big time, literally and figuratively. You bet on yourself, and now you get an opportunity. You get your out, because I think I said it to you or somebody on my week back. He was grumpy being around him. He was happy-go-lucky 2-3 years ago, and he was grumpy the last 2 years. He wasn't playing well. He was in a third-pairing role, 7th defenseman at times. And when he got in there, let's not kid ourselves, and I said it last season, he wasn't good. He was not good. I was surprised he made the team out of camp last year. That's how bad I thought his training camp.
He got that great opportunity in preseason with Echo being banged up,
with it,
and he wasted it.
Now he goes, plays with passion and vigor, and he's pissed off and a chip on his shoulder in Bakersfield, and does great. Gets called up for the playoffs, end of the regular season too, and knocked it out of the park in the games he played in the postseason. Good for him. He played 10 great postseason games. And then maximizes his opportunity and gets his chance with St. Louis, where now he's a $4.6 million defenseman. He's not worth 4.6 if you look at his body of work.
No, not even. He's not worth 2.6 if you look at his body of work. That's just a fact.
He's got the potential to be that guy, and I think he probably will. I like where things were going, and if he finally just said, F this, I'm going to become who I'm supposed to become in the National Hockey League and take the bull by the horns, which we saw in the playoffs, which is the toughest stage. But I think there was displeasure, and he wasn't particularly happy. I think it's pretty clear when your agent says that you can negotiate or goes out publicly and says you always give them the green light to negotiate a trade with other teams. That wasn't the case. And that kind of pissed off the Oilers. Kenny Holland wasn't happy by all accounts, kind of hurt his relationship with the player. And apparently he really liked Philip Broberg as a person and as a player. That was Ken Holland's first pick, if I recall correctly.
That's right.
The Oilers.
Everybody was like, it's Lidstrom. He's drafted Lidstrom.
Right.
Because the Swedish connection.
Yeah. So it's just he got his money. He's out, and he put the Oilers into a bind, and they're going to have to quickly figure something out on the fly. And by all accounts, they're exploring all options, was what I was told, and as they should. And if you think, I'll say this too, to cap it all off, if you think that Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway leaving for St. Louis is going to sink this team, you're out of your mind.
Well, I was going to ask, was like, because of this, if let's say before we viewed the Oilers as I'm just going to use this number. It's not how it works because there's so many teams, but let's just say we thought they had an 80% chance of winning the Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They lose Broberg. They lose Holloway. They've obviously made some maneuvers to try to replace these guys. And regardless of the replacements, losing Broberg and losing Holloway, if their chances of winning the Stanley Cup were 80% before, what are their chances of winning the Stanley Cup now?
Probably still 80%.
Probably still 80%.
Broberg, I don't know. I saw it earlier in the inbox. What if Broberg is the nurse whisperer? Like, I don't know if that would ever come to fruition.
Nurse shouldn't need a whisperer. Let's not even get started on this.
He's been in the NHL for 10 years. He should be fine.
He gets paid over $9 million a year. Those guys don't need whisperers. They're supposed to do the whispering.
He had a bad playoffs. Darnell did. Wasn't for the most part, because everybody was bad for the first 5 weeks last season. You're right. He should be fine on his own. Now, do they need to find the right guy for him? Yes. Someone who can stabilize him? Yes. And I like Cass pointed this out during the season on the pre and post game show, especially when people were pointing the finger at CeCe being the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And CeCe, as we know, was paired up with Nurse for the majority of the season. CeCe had to figure out what the heck Darnell was doing in game all the time, and that's not easy.
CeCe made fewer mistakes with Nurse than Nurse did with CeCe.
Yeah,
and it gets magnified because Nurse makes this much money, and he's supposed to be the guy who makes fewer mistakes than CeCe and supposed to stabilize a pairing with CeCe. But that was not the case.
Correct.
That was not the case.
Correct. There was a text that came in. I want to read it. It's from Propane Pimp. It says, Dylan screwed up. It really is that easy. It was JB. I will get to Propane Pimp's text. 780-218-9999. JB says, when Armstrong said he would have given offer sheets even if his mother was GM, this ignores that his mom would budget better than Holland. No Holland, no offer sheets happen. And someone from the organization said, and I quote, Kenny effed us.
Okay, now.
And I think it's in regard, not necessarily him getting them extended mid-season. It's when he was done with the team saying, Doug, you could.
Yeah, okay. Because I was going to have a bit of an argument against the other one.
The mid-season argument, I'll just put it this way. If you're Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg and you just got sent down mid-season, you're playing in Bakersfield, and the organization says, we want to extend you, are you going to jump all over that when you're in Bakersfield and you know you're probably getting called up at some point? No.
No, who's going to sign?
Where's
in that
your
situation?
value?
Like, yeah.
They played it right.
chance. No.
Yeah.
And my argument against the Kenny Eftis thing is, if we were talking pre-leaving the organization, but post-leaving the organization, is that this team had enough cap space for Jeff Jackson to bring in new free agents, keep the other veteran free agents. Some of that money could have spent on these two kids if they wanted to make them a priority. They simply didn't, because they thought they were in a spot where they could play hardball with them, and in most situations, you usually are. This one wasn't. It backfired. They move on, and we'll get to some possible defensive targets in a second. But when they traded Cece, I think most of us thought, okay, well, you're going to trade Cece, you're going to keep Robert.
Yes.
But then we kind of broke down the numbers, not this offseason, but next offseason. And if Bouchard and Draisaitl take up $24 million on your cap, like they had, we looked at it, and it was like they had $26 million in cap space.
Right.
If you tack on this $7 million for these two guys, you're going to screw yourself so hard a year from now.
Yes.
That really there was no way to do it. Like you could have matched on one of them to get through this year, but you would have been screwed even more than you're already going to be when you have to dish out $24 million in contracts this time next season,
and that,
or sooner.
Yeah. And you know, the Oilers were super quiet all week long. They didn't make a statement because they were all huddling together and trying to figure out every scenario. And you know what? That's probably, you get all hands on deck. That's probably the right thing to do. Okay, project this. Where would Broberg be best case scenario? Okay, second pairing. Where would Holloway be a year from now? Best case scenario. First or second line winger. They get rid of Kane.
Best case scenario.
Skinner's gone. You know, best case scenario. Where are we? Worst case scenario. Well, Broberg still 6'7". Holloway, third, fourth line guy.
I was going to say, worst case scenario, this time next year, we're still slotting in Holloway on the third line.
Right. And then ultimately, they had to look at the numbers going forward. They still need to get Draisaitl figured out. They'll have to deal with McDavid. They have the Bouchard thing. So they went and got Podkolzin. This Emberson, and I heard people texting in earlier saying, Emberson, people are expecting big things from him. Tap the brakes on that, please. He's played 30 NHL games.
I don't know if you knew, but like people are very excited about Emberson.
Yeah, that's great, but
I get used to it, buddy.
I hope that your hopes aren't like. I hope you don't get hurt that badly when you find out that he's kind of a tweener.
How about this, eh?
Look at this.
Smoked ham and chicken.
Stromboli.
Look at this thing.
Yes, thank you. They still have Stature. They have Brown. They're talking to others. You brought up Barry. That is something. There's a little smoke there. So yeah, that's how they went about it. And I said it on the Hangout earlier. I did a hit with Mitch Gallo in Montreal earlier last week, and he's like, "All right, tell us the big deal about this. Like, it looks like people in Edmonton are freaking out, but why are they freaking out about a 6'7" D-man and a fourth liner?" And I was like, pardon me? Yeah. You watch your mouth. That was my instinct. But then you think about it and you go, well, yeah, that's how people view those two from outside this market, because we obviously, and fans here care, and they pay super close attention to the team. So
that being said, Broberg probably would have been top 4 for them next year.
I think so too.
And he's probably going to be top 4 in St. Louis.
I think so too. I mean, with Torrey Krug, like I think there's an opportunity there. And if you do pair him up with Parayko, thank you very much. Like,
I grab a napkin.
That could be pretty darn good. So we'll see where he takes it. He's a good player.
Okay, so when you look at their right side on the blue line, Brown, Stetcher, Emberson. We've seen Justin Schultz's name pop up.
Sure.
We've heard that Tyson Barrie has had some form of conversation with the team. Are those would one of those guys slide in and play right side with Darnell Nurse?
I don't. Today, August 26th, I look at that and I go, that's not great. Those are not good options.
No. Well, I think Tyson Barrie has to be better than, he's better than Brown. I mean,
yes,
better than Brown.
He's better than Emberson.
He's better than Emberson. You would hope he's better. Well,
probably better
people
than
seem
Cedric.
to think Emberson, because he was good in the American League, had 10 points.
Tom Rennie loved Corey Potter.
Tom, you got to be ready because you're going to get so much Emberson talk in the preseason.
Great. I can't wait. And then when we find out that he's a decent 7, I hope people aren't disappointed.
People are slotted.
I hope I'm wrong.
So how much better, or not how much better, but if it's Barrie or it's Schultz, what we see, Klingberg came up, like one of those guys on a, hey, here's a chance to still play in the NHL on a minimum deal after a PTO, maybe even a minimum deal without a PTO. That's got to be an intriguing spot for one of those guys.
Of course.
Like if the others just saying, hey, come on in here, Barrie, Schultz, whatever. Like,
so the smoke, like I said, with Barrie, his side would welcome a reunion. The Oilers have discussed his name. I know that. It would have to be in a depth role. Barrie, from what I'm told, understands this. He was vibe daddy around here. They really liked him. He's still tight with the guys.
I just don't believe that it has to be in a depth role.
Well, okay,
like, look who he's competing with.
And then
if he comes into camp and looks better than Stetcher coming off an injury, Emberson who's played 30 games in the NHL, and Brown who's no more than a 7, I mean, it could be a top 4. And if Bouchard goes down, he'd be running your power play again,
which was very successful.
Exactly.
Okay, Tyson Barrie. If you're making a case for Tyson Barrie, we're gonna play this game. It didn't go well in Nashville. Him and Barry Trotz did not like each other, where it became a public spat.
Well, that's not going to help much,
right? So, and they just went out of their way to not play him. He's going to be super motivated to show he's still an NHL defenseman. Probably thinks he has a couple of years left in the league. Super familiar with the city, super familiar with the players. Could probably slide in fairly easily, even though it's a new coach, some new guys on the team. But in that situation, he probably could slide in fairly easily. And he's probably going to be motivated to show Barry Trotz that he was completely wrong about him, whatever spat that, or whatever, instigated that spat. He can show them that he is better than what the Preds allowed him to be in Nashville. Those are things that are going for Tyson Barrie. Or, worst case scenario, he comes in, not good. The year away from Edmonton and not playing regularly totally affected his game, and it's a waste at a cheap price. Justin Schultz, I'm not sure. I don't know how his year went in, where was he? Seattle last year? Last couple of years?
A couple on Emberson. RCN says Emberson, greater than sign. 2 of them, I believe. Yep, 2 greater than signs. Vinny. Rip City Steps says Barrie and Coffee. Paul Coffey, a great combo.
Sure.
And I want to get to this one. Says Low Tide loves him. Good. Shout out Low Tide. Miss you.
What's up, Low Tide? Love you.
But if Emberson was that good, why would Greer trade him for Ceci? And a pick. And,
right.
But that's a valid point. Like we're sitting here going, wow, Emberson could slot in beside Darnell Nurse and kind of be the stay-home presence that Nurse needs. And you're like, first of all, the Sharks claimed him off waivers a year ago. Yep. And then you use that argument and people go, well, look at Forsling. Gustav Forsling was claimed off waivers. So now all of a sudden you're comparing him to Gustav Forsling.
Wasn't Jersey on waivers?
Why would they? Why if San Jose is a
like
team that's desperately looking for people to build around, and they're deciding to part ways with Emberson? So don't sit here and tell me, oh, he's going to be great. San Jose moved him for a third and the CC cap hit, and the team before that 12 months ago put him on waivers for nothing. Yeah. So I think I hope he succeeds, but I'm more looking at him as like a number 6. And there's people who are legitimately looking at his 10 points with the Sharks and going, top 4 minutes. Like, what the hell are we doing? I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. If he played that well in San Jose, why didn't they play him more? He played like 18 minutes a night.
Hey, Tyler Addy was great. Like, that is basically the same argument. Tyler Addy, mopped up the season so well, played beside McDavid. Have they found the right winger McDavid so coveted? Great offseason, goes in, blows it up in the preseason. First 5 games of the regular season, awful. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Ty Emerson, but like, how do you legitimately look at him and go, he's going to be fantastic as a regular on the third pair, maybe the second pair, and he's going to be this, that, playing his first full NHL season? You can't project them that way.
Michael Cook does make an interesting point. He says, are we confident that Greer is crushing it in San Jose, though? So are we sitting there going, it's a mistake. Greer just made a mistake. I mean, I guess you could look at it. Mark says, geez, Dusty, you're making me hungry with that lunch. Only problem is there's no BPs within 2,250 kilometers of me.
Where are you?
Well, he must be on the moon. Like, where are you in Canada? That I guess maybe Mark listens way up north. Is there like
maybe?
Is there no Boston Pizza in like the Yukon?
Maybe not.
Well, looks like there's a market. Open one up.
Let's
Chris
go.
says, I liked Barry. I didn't watch Schultz enough to make a judgment on him this year. Northside Sandwich says, for the PTOs, the main issue is foot speed or size. They will either need to be fast or have strength to manhandle people.
That's fair. That's fair.
780-218-9999. Guys, any surprise call-up in season from Bakersfield, maybe? Like Warner or Kemp?
Warner, I've
People
heard,
seem
is
to like, yeah, maybe like him.
progressing okay.
That's not bad news, then.
No, that's good.
You want fries, Tommy?
No, I'm going to wait for my lunch. It's all good.
Did you order anything yet?
Not yet.
What do you think of having here at this wonderful Boston Pizza?
I don't know. The sky's the limit. No, thank you, Dustin, with the Y. I will order my own. I appreciate that. He's offering, is that the Meteor Pizza? Old school BBQ chicken.
It's going to sound
Very
really
good.
bad, but I had the Meteor Pizza from here last night.
So good.
Different location, though. And we
So
ordered
good.
in. So it's different.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's the GOAT of all menu items.
Dustin with the Y. Were you at Century Casino last night?
Yeah, he was.
And Jay and Andrew were there. I know that.
Good crew.
Good crew.
Watching the, we don't have to talk about the Elks. Not today. Let's stick with the Oilers.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw Fergie's Prostate was there. Liquid Beaver was there.
Oh.
It's not that season
That's
yet.
next week. Thursday Night Football. Here we go.
Yeah, betting on horses now.
I heard.
All right, let's see. Let's get to this one.
Get
Joel
some text.
from Bonnie. That would be Bonnieville. Sun here because the patio's so bright.
It is so bright.
What is Darnell Nurse? What does he do in your mind that he deserves to be playing the minutes he plays? Is it just because he makes that much money? Because if he's a bottom pair D-man, I still don't think he's a strong D-man. What say you? That's Joel from Bonnie.
Good question, Joel. He's supposed to be tougher. Go ahead.
Well, no, the one thing I know he does is he skates extremely well. Like he skates better than everybody else on the blue line.
Yes.
So he's got that going for him.
Bye,
See you
Jay
guys.
and Andrea. Thanks for coming.
Okay, now you do one.
Darnell Nurse?
Yeah. I said he skates well. What's his next
When
best
he wants
attribute?
to be, he can be very physical and intimidating.
You got to put an asterisk on that because you said when he wants to be.
I know.
That's the problem.
He's supposed to be
am I
offensively competent.
Yeah. And he's not, I mean, he puts up okay points.
30 to 40 points as a defenseman
That's not the end
is
of the world.
good.
Do you think there's something to it that once he got paid, he lost the edge
That could
that
be
he
it.
once had?
I think the scrutiny has bothered him, and he's let it
Why
slip
does he
a few
care about
times.
fans? Nothing against fans. I mean, but why does he care about media or fans when you make 9.2 whatever it is to play hockey? You
'Cause
should
he
not care what
he
anybody
cares a
else
lot.
says. Yeah, but you
Cares.
shouldn't.
Everybody's minds are built differently. They can handle things differently. He is generally very headstrong, but I think when you're down, you hear things, you're around, and it can affect you. And I think it has. I think the combination of the big contract, his performance dipping, and the scrutiny has created this bad mix that has affected him. He used to be, I allude to this. He was a go-to. You could BS with him in the locker room with the mic off. You could have fun. You could talk about anything with him because he's that kind of guy. Very, very personable. That has gone away in the last 2 years. He's short, sometimes ill-tempered, downright unpleasant in the locker room because he just doesn't want to be here. He's pissed off. We saw him going into Game 4 against Dallas. He did the 1-minute scrum where he was basically a jerk, and then he went and played his best game of the playoffs, and then his play dipped again. I think all of that has affected him because the Darnell I remember when he got drafted, even the Darnell for the first 5-6 years of his career, was not that guy. But
And they weren't good for a lot of those years, and he could have very easily been that guy.
And he wasn't that guy.
Yeah.
Contract happens, play dips,
criticism,
and I think it has. My opinion is it has affected him.
All right, let's get to a few of your messages here on Darnell Nurse. There's lots of them trickling in. Of course, you can text us at 780-218-9999. About 10 minutes left in the show. Try to get to a few of those.
How about this?
Portions of the show brought to you by...
Chew on it at the end.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely get to that.
Mhm.
Jess Jackson.
She's the
What
best.
a dog.
She's the best.
What a dog.
She's the best.
She's coming to the Estes.
As she
Yeah,
should.
yeah, she should be there. Maybe she
Fantastic.
presents. Who knows?
That'd be great.
What was I just going to say? Oh,
Portions of this.
portions of this brought to you by Popeyes, where they do have the boneless wings now available. 5 different flavors. Absolutely delicious. Let's see here. There's lots of good ones here. Nurse is a physical presence, though he hasn't been the same since the hip injury in the playoffs, like last year. Like 2 playoffs ago.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Because he
from
had the
Induced
torn
Comics.
hip flexor.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Joe Blow says, man, those mics are awesome. No background noise at all. Yeah.
And there's like a motorcycle going right now.
we could have an F1 race right here.
That'd
There's
be
going to
so
be no
cool.
interference.
How about Lando yesterday?
Yeah. Catches Max
Mhm.
and then beats him by 20 seconds.
After the bad start.
It's on now. I
Yeah.
love it.
Hello.
Max Bazuzu says Nurse is supposed to eat minutes, but that's also his negative because he manages his effort so that he can eat minutes. Scott Thompson says Nurse skates extremely well and can have a serious edge to his game.
Yep.
Usually when he blows it, I say he overcooks the play. Simple Nurse is elite Nurse.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Overcooks it.
Somebody did say, texted
That's a
in and
good
said,
point.
he's a great skater, but sometimes he skates himself into trouble
Yeah.
as opposed to.
I
do
get that.
I
get
do
that.
agree. If this sounds crazy to say, but
I don't think it's crazy.
like, is a simple Darnell Nurse worth $9.2 million? Maybe.
The Darnell Nurse we saw in the 56-game COVID-affected season was really good.
Yeah, but that was playing against some.
Was the North Division really that bad?
Ottawa was bad.
They sucked.
I know Montreal went to the Cup.
Winnipeg sweeps Edmonton.
Where
that
was
year after
Vancouver
losing
at
7
that
in a row to
point?
them. Meh.
Yeah,
Mid, as the kids would
Toronto's
say.
Toronto.
Toronto was good.
Montreal went on a run, but they weren't a great team during the
No,
regular
I know.
season. So yeah, I don't think it was very good.
Text coming from T. Kirk, formerly Sobe Kirk. Tommy, shouldn't some kind of sports psychologist help with this then? Dr. Sharon, a.k.a. Ted Lasso. I hope he can get over it. Yeah, and they have George Mumford, who's around. And
They had him around, the Kobe guy.
yeah, so, but I don't know. What does Tide say about goalies? They're voodoo.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing when you get into people's minds as well. and maybe there's someone there that can get Darnell into the right state of mind. Maybe there is. Hopefully there is. Maybe he does it himself.
Chris says Nurse skates well,
Yeah.
tough, carries the puck. When he's playing well, he shows signs of pronger. A lot of the times, it's like someone unplugged his controller, he flops on the ice, and he doesn't look like he cares.
Yeah,
I would probably disagree with he doesn't look like he cares.
he cares.
I think
deeply.
Yeah, I think he very much cares. I think
Deeply.
sometimes he just loses the composure defensively a little bit.
Yeah. If someone ever questions his give a you know what meter, I'd say you're completely wrong. That guy cares deeply.
Guys, is Nurse a third pairing D-man on a championship team?
No.
I think he's a second pairing D-man
So do
on a
I.
championship team.
And I keep saying it. I think he is capable of playing better because he's done it already. He wasn't good in the playoffs. Okay in the regular season.
Travis says Nurse is the D-man I like out there for 3-on-3 overtime. Yeah, I don't mind when Nurse comes over the board in overtime. He skates well enough that if he gets himself into trouble, he can recoup.
Yeah.
And he can do things with his legs in overtime just because he's very good skater.
Yeah.
Did you hear the news about Ted Lasso?
It's coming back for season 4.
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
I have not. I've watched the best of on YouTube.
Who only watches the best
VR
stuff?
Montenegro.
VR Montenegro rolling in with 5 minutes left in the show.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable.
That's my guy.
That's a weird thing to roll. Anyway, it'd be good to see him. He said he's coming to the ST strapped just in case Clausen attacks Sacticum in the rap beef.
If Clausen's listening, I got something for him because he's a big Live fan. It's at the studio. Maddie has it.
It's a weird thing to say.
What?
Somebody being a big Live fan.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know.
VR, what's up?
Hello, Michael.
You got here just for the wrap-up.
Are you on a conference call right now?
Do the Jess thing.
Okay. Let's have some fun. I mean, this whole show has been fun. It's great to be back. It's a sign that the summer break is winding down. We got Hernan here. Joaquin was also here, but he had to take care of some family stuff, and they were already talking about their show, getting ready for next week. Great get. On top of the Reed get, Jasmine coming in on the hangout.
We're cooking.
All right. Jess Jackson, our Jess from the Bear, says, Tommy, got to look at this. So she emails me.
How come she mails it to you? Because you're handsome and I'm not. That's got to be the thing.
Oh, stop it. You looked very dapper on the
why did she send it to me?
Weekend. Because she knows you're such a busy guy, but I get less emails.
Jess, I get it.
Anyway. AI lists the NHL's least attractive squads. The Edmonton Oilers rank number 8. I say it's the Dylan Holloway effect. They have some...
Because he was so handsome?
He was very handsome. I have no qualms.
Are we talking AI, like artificial?
AI. So AI tracks...
So they looked at all their pictures and then...
I guess so.
And who's the ugliest?
Okay, let me read the bullet points here. The Edmonton Oilers are officially the 8th least attractive NHL team. The St. Louis Blues, Florida Panthers, Ottawa Senators, Anaheim Ducks, and New York Islanders round out the top 5.
Well, that totally ruins your Holloway Broberg thing.
Well, Holloway boosted the St. Louis Blues.
Oh, top 5?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant bottom 5.
No, that's the top 5. The study utilized the attractiveness tests AI tool to determine the most handsome teams in the NHL. The Vancouver Canucks, New York Rangers, Detroit Red Wings, San Jose Sharks, and Philadelphia Flyers have the highest attractiveness scores in the study.
Based on headshots, eh?
Yep. New data reveals the most swoon-worthy NHL teams. Research conducted by sports betting and casino site TonyBet, not Coolbet.
Well, if you can't trust TonyBet, who can you trust?
Coolbet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Examine the attractiveness of each player in all 32 teams. Teams with the highest average attractiveness score on the attractiveness test AI tool have been named the biggest heartthrobs. Vancouver takes the crown.
As the ugliest?
Best looking.
The best looking.
They have an average attractiveness score of 7.841 out of 10, which is 4.9% higher than the average across the entire NHL.
So real hot.
Rangers second hottest. And so let's go to the bottom of
Who's the
league.
ugliest team in the league?
The Colorado Avalanche.
Really?
Yeah. Followed by the Seattle Kraken, then Edmonton, then Dallas, then the Utah Hockey Club.
Oh, so they're the 10th ugliest, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Pardon me.
St. Louis is the ugliest.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I thought they were saying they're the best.
No, they're the ugliest.
No, ugliest. So St. Louis, Florida, Ottawa, Anaheim, Islanders. Top 5 ugliest teams. Followed by Utah, Dallas, Edmonton, Seattle, and Colorado.
Who brings down the Oilers, do you think? I got a couple suggestions.
Matthias Janmark.
I was just going to say, if Matthias Janmark's not on the team, they're top 10.
He's no Dill Pickle.
It was funny today when I was leaving. Zacticum was like, he was looking for a picture of Janmark. And Zacticum goes, man, Janmark kind of looks like the guy from the Goonies.
No.
Not that bad. But yeah, Matthias Janmark would have been the first one that I would have thought of. I mean, Draisaitl's pretty sexy.
Connor McDavid's not a good-looking guy, I don't think.
I know it sounds bad to say anything, but yeah, he's not that handsome.
No. They lost Cody Ceci. Very symmetrical.
CC was good looking, dude.
Good looking dude. Very nice guy too. Who else?
Trying to think. Bouchard's not handsome.
No, D-Rock Ryan is kind of an everyday man.
Hyman.
You know, Adam Henrique boosted the team.
Henrique's
He's a good looking guy.
manly beard.
Yeah. Good dude too.
Corey Perry's not handsome.
Not a good looking guy. Who else?
Evander Kane.
Good looking guy.
Good looking guy.
Yeah.
Built together well.
Yeah.
Dresses well.
Yeah, he does.
But
But we're only talking headshots here.
Skinner and Arvidsson.
Good looking guys.
What? Both of them?
Skinner, yeah.
I'm gonna look up these headshots here.
How do you? I know Matthias Janmark is the exception
I know Jeff's
in Sweden because everyone else is very well put together and good looking.
Yeah, Skinner's a babyface. Kind of looks like Tom.
Jeff Skinner. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking
I
Stu
saw
Skinner.
Stuart Skinner.
Oh, Jeff.
Yeah,
Skinner.
Jeff Skinner's. He looks like Tom Holland in Spider-Man.
Oh.
If anybody's gonna be Spider-Man on this team,
It's Jeff Skinner.
it would be Jeff Skinner. Yeah, with that mustache, Stuart Skinner for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arvidsson doesn't help the ranking.
No. Well, he's kind of got that
No, I mean I'm more handsome than him.
like his old Nashville pictures were good.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
aged a bit.
Yeah, perhaps.
Oh yeah, actually that one's not
Looks like
bad.
he's got a dip.
No,
in his mouth.
he's a weird guy that looks better without the beard. Looks better without the beard.
Yeah.
Than with the beard.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a little bottom lipper in there with his Kings.
Probably
headshot.
does.
Yeah, he probably does. Or the Zims. Or whatever. Zins, yeah.
Zin. How do you I know that? You don't know that.
My dad texting you. Hello, Reno. I haven't talked to him in a while. Says,
Hey Tom,
"Cool."
welcome back.
Yeah. Hey, he played in the poker tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth with him for a bit. How did he finish? I wonder if I finished bigger than the big shot pro.
Well, he had tough hands. He said he wasn't getting any cards.
I wasn't getting anything either. I
Me
agree with
neither.
you.
I was as high as 10th, and then I went pretty hard on two hands, and I just got crushed.
I finished 25th.
I was like 50th.
Ooh, geez, you went
Yeah,
up early. Yeah.
But I was getting annoyed, so I wanted out.
You're getting annoyed already?
Oh, yeah.
Just in poker in general, or?
I'll tell you this about the Coolbet tournament that we had last Tuesday. I started to get the itch for poker again. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good at this.
And then
And it takes you down some bad roads. So I'm like, just get out.
that's good.
So I went hard on a couple of questionable hands. That
All right.
cost me.
Well, fun oil stream. Patio oil stream. Good time.
Good to be back.
Hit up the Boston Pizza patio while you still can. They got their summer menu that's still kicking around. Oilers menu coming down the pipe. NFL menu coming down the pipe as well at all of your Boston Pizza locations. Tommy, welcome back.
It's great to be back. I'm excited. Here we go. Like season 2 right
another
around the
season.
corner.
Locked and loaded. Expanded group.
Yeah, SD's coming up. We got 2 new shows we're launching. And we got the Labor Day Classic coming up.
Yes.
And what else did I want to hit on? Man, there's so much happening.
Zach's playing us out.
We've got some new stuff coming up, and let's go. This is it. This is our last week. Let's get to 10,000.
Yes.
Let's just
give us a sub if you haven't already. We're this close to hitting 10,000 by the end of year 1. Sub. If you're listening to the podcast on All Stream, go to our YouTube channel and sub. We would appreciate it. Huge shout out to Tara and the crew.
Yes.
Roger, everybody here at Boston Pizza, Calgary Trail. It's been a fun time. Talk to you tomorrow.